Good morning, everybody. It's 11 minutes past 7 o'clock right now, and welcome back to the program. It is time to pay a visit to our friends over at Westside Auto Pros. Joe, the other car guy, joining us in studio. Jackie?
Oh, fantastic. So we saw with that pre-shot that you're discussing shocks and struts with us this morning. And for those of us that might not be keyed into exactly what that means, what would you describe as a shock and strut?
The shock or the strut, your car has one or the other, or sometimes it may have one on the front and another type on the back. That's what's actually absorbing the ride comfort for you as you're going down the road to prevent your car from bouncing. And there's some other things that we'll talk about when we get into it. But that's
so
the
it keeps
easiest
your ride
description.
smooth.
That's the easiest description for it. And then
Okay.
there's some other things that go along with it.
So what are we discussing today? Why is it important to be aware of our shocks and struts?
Well, what we've got is I've got a fantastic deal for Shocktober coming up.
Oh, no.
That's clever.
Exactly.
It's Shocktober.
Yeah, so we've got a deal. We'll start with that first, and then we'll tell you why you should take advantage of the deal. But every year at this time, during Shocktober, they run a buy three, get one free that you can pick up anywhere. And because we like to plus one that or anything else that we do, we're going to buy two, get two free.
Okay.
All right.
So you do have to pay for installation. You do have to pay for the wheel alignment of the ones that are free, but you will get the actual parts free.
There you go.
One of them is an instant. We'll take it off before you even pick up your car as far as an instant rebate. The other one you do have to mail in and get a rebate back on that.
All right.
But yeah, it's buy two, get two free. I would challenge that you will probably not find this anywhere else within a 100-mile radius or more.
Can you talk about the cost savings there of what kind of deal we're getting?
You could easily, depending on your vehicle, because
Right.
every vehicle is different, you could easily save anywhere. It's going to be a minimum of $100 you're going to save.
Wow.
It could be clear up to $200, $300, $400, depending on
gosh.
the
Yeah,
vehicle.
so if you're thinking
Huge
about it, you
savings
know
there.
something's going on, your ride's not quite right, maybe it's time to replace the shocks or struts, this would be the opportunity to jump on board.
Absolutely, and there's a good rule of thumb. I mean, some people tell you 50,000, 60,000, 90,000. We, through research of what we've found, and when the ride quality starts to diminish, about 75,000 miles is a good rule of thumb.
Okay.
That's not set in stone that your car is going to blow up if you're at 76,000.
Now, is there any surefire way to, because obviously some things can break before that, but is there any surefire way to maybe look at your car and say, oh, it's not sitting right, maybe there's a shock or a strut problem?
Sure, yeah. The easiest way would be with tires, which is what our display has here. They keep the tires actually planted on the ground. So yeah, they're absorbing, shock so you don't feel it in the vehicle.
Right.
But that's actually what holds your tires to the pavement to keep them rolling true. So
keep
if you
them
have,
bouncing?
yeah, so if you have a worn out shock, as this thing demonstrates when you crank the wheel, it'll wear out your tire, because your tire, instead of being firmly on the ground, is going like this. Well, every time it's coming off the pavement and going back down, it's creating an uneven wear pattern.
Okay.
All right, let's see the display. Is it a motion display here?
It is.
Okay.
We can rock it.
Ooh, it's like a toy.
So show us what you're talking about.
So this would be an uneven tire. That shock's just bouncing
That was
up
like my
and down.
last car.
Exactly. And we've probably all seen that car driving down the road. It hits a bump and it just keeps going like this for 5 more miles. Your tire should be smooth with the pavement. It shouldn't be bouncing at all. So that's what the other one's demonstrating. It's a firm shock that's holding it onto the ground.
There you go.
Now, there's a myth out there that it also controls the height. Is that
Correct.
What's
People
the
think
misconception there?
Yeah, people think in Ford Taurus, not to roll Ford under any bus or anything, but the Ford Taurus were notorious for having a spring that would break on them. Well, people think, well, yeah, I need the shock or the strut replaced on my vehicle because maybe it sags on one side or another. Unless you have an air shock or an air ride system, which is on some of the higher end vehicles.
Like the Lincolns have those, don't they?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. Unless you have one of those, that controls nothing with ride height. You can put another shock on it, it's going to sit exactly the same way.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Good to know.
So a lot of people think, well, my vehicle's sagging, I'll put some shocks on it, it'll solve it. Unless it's an air ride suspension.
Not the case.
Not going to help you at all.
All right.
The other thing that you don't really think about with it is it helps braking distance also. If you pull up to a stop and your car nosedives terrible, chances are you've got worn out shocks or struts.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's going to be because of the weight transfer.
Yeah, yep, the weight transfer. When it keeps it balanced so that it's not just rolling all the weight forward and making the car take longer to stop, if things are the way they're supposed to be, you'll actually stop
How
short.
big of a process is it to do a shock replacement or a strut replacement on a vehicle? How long should people expect to have their car in?
Sure, that depends on the vehicle also. A lot of shocks and struts, because of the labor that's involved with it, we're going to have your car approximately for the day. We do offer, pickup and delivery. We've got shuttle service. We've got a vehicle, because if you need it, your car is your life in some cases. We'll take care of that as well. But I would plan on it being there for a day. Very, very rarely is it ever going to go over that. Sometimes we can do them in half a day and get you back on the road as well.
Okay,
Right.
now you touched on something rather quickly here that I think is really important. You said you have pickup and delivery.
We do.
And that's a bonus, and that's an added value of Westside Auto Pros that I don't think a lot of people realize you do.
Exactly, yeah. If you're anywhere in the Des Moines metro area, we'll pick up and deliver your car for service. We're happy to do that. We're staffed to do that. That's something that a lot of places do not offer, or if they offer it, you don't know about it because they don't talk about it. So we're trying to let people know that is an option for
So
us.
you can just take your car to work, and then you guys
Yeah.
would come and grab it, and then do what has to be done to it, and then bring it back to your workplace.
Exactly. While you're inside working,
While you're
your car
inside
gets
working.
done, and it's there when you
Right, or
when you
even
leave.
your home. You guys are great that way.
Yeah.
So if we need to keep an eye on our vehicle, if we start feeling a bouncing or our tires are getting worn down or if it's not braking properly or you feel that nosedive, those are all signs that we need to be looking at our shocks or struts.
Yep, exactly. And that's why we put that 75,000 mile rule on it, because it's easier to catch a problem before it becomes a bigger problem.
Right.
If your tires are wearing perfectly fine and you have 90,000 miles on your vehicle and you've never done it, it's also a good time to do it then.
It's also a good time to might be
because
come
you
in
may
and
have
check it out.
brand new tires you don't want to ruin.
Right.
Yeah, but this service, let's be really honest here, this service is a little pricey and for some budgets, but you guys are equipped to handle that too.
Exactly, yeah. Shocks and struts, that's one of the things that turns people off to it, is because it's like, well, I picked my car up, it looks the exact same, I have no idea what you did to it.
Right.
You don't crawl underneath there and you generally look at your shocks and struts. And it's something that it stings for a lot of people's pocketbooks. So we offer a 6-month financing. There's no interest for those 6 months. If you choose to take longer than that, they'll ding you pretty hard on that, but it's free money for 6 months. So even if it's not a ding on your pocketbook and you want to use someone else's money, we can do that too.
All right, sounds good. Well, we're also helping you out with a great deal that's going on right now, but it's just through the month of October, or I should say Shocktober. Sorry about that. So you don't want to delay on this because it only runs through October 31st, but explain again what everybody's going to get with this deal.
Yep, exactly. It's buy two, get two free, and that's on the shock or strut. You'll get a free one instantly. You'll mail in rebate for another one. We're going to cheat and start it a few days early, so if you're just chomping at the bit to get shocks and struts now that I've talked about it, we'll do her today.
All right. Well, if people want to get in touch with you and make that appointment, what's the best way, Joe?
They can call us at 225-9090. We're all over the internet at westsideautopros.com, or they can email me at joe@westsideautopros if they want direct.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
We'll be right back at 7.